attraction, like attracts like. It's
Yeah.
like a guitar that would attract the same sound to itself. Um, how I actually do it is I hold intention to keep my field high, moving, fast vibration to be clear. And I also work always, the Archangel Michael never leaves my side. And every day, I use a intention. I have in place what's called the blue cloak of protection over me. And it's like a bubble of his blue light that keeps out anything that's not of the highest and purest light
Hmm.
from entering my aura. And I also have him always cut my cords and attachments. And I don't do any ritualistic things, such as I don't feel the need to light candles or because for me that intention is enough. If you ask, it's given, and when you know that and you begin to trust and know that, it's just done. So if I work in a gathering or a group or a room and
Hmm.
I'm going to leave that space, then I'll just ask the Archangel Michael to come in and clear it. And then I say, so be it, and so it is, and it's done. Did that answer your
Yeah,
question?
yes, it did. And my follow-up is who attracted who? Did you attract Archangel Michael, or did Archangel Michael decide that he was going to be with you?
Well, I believe before we come, we actually have a game plan of where we might like to travel on our vacation.
Hmm.
And we, as a collective, decided to work together. He's actually showing up and talking with me. Decided to work together to shine more light on this dimension because we were actually shifting dimensions here from the third into more of a fifth dimensional expression for many on the planet. And I aligned to be part of his so-called brigade before I came because I am um, I don't like the word old soul, but I have traveled this dimension many times and I have evolved to a very high vibration here and on the other side. And so I was very happy to come and be a way shower of joy as well. Many, many people are waking up to their willingness that they agreed to before they traveled here to shine light and spread joy so that others may choose it and evolve the planet to a new higher way of living in a new dimension.
Why do we keep coming back? Wouldn't once be
Um,
enough? I know if I go on vacation, I don't go to the same place twice.
Well, it's always a different expression, is it not? Because you will play a different role and you will travel with different people. And so it's not a monotony. It is always, there is always a newness because in each moment, for example, if I were to have a taste of chocolate
Hmm.
and you were to have a taste of chocolate as Rob and me as my personality, Lori, then I would only have that perspective as this in that one moment. So each moment's going to be a new moment, which is ever evolving expression for source and your soul energy.
Do you believe in reincarnation?
Absolutely, absolutely. And I believe in parallel lives. I believe in everything. I believe all is possible. If one should ever speak of it, it is made so. It may not come into physical form or visual awareness, but it is made so just by the very intention. Say, if you're on the other side as a being not in a physical incarnation and you have a thought form, it is made, created before you instantaneously, depending upon the dimension that you travel in. And then you have a choice to continue to expand it in another expression or to completely transmute it and begin again.
Were you always keen on New Age spirituality, the supernatural, or did this all happen after your divorce?
I was brought up a Catholic girl,
Hmm.
and I appreciate that lineage because it allowed me foundation to know of the angels and to know of God. Because I think for me, the hardest thing I think if I were to travel would to be an atheist because then I would feel more on my own to discover the truth of me. Not because it's not possible or that's a bad trip. It's just for me, I'm so grateful that I got to have this awareness in the form that I did. And
But why are you grateful when, according to you, you chose this path?
Because all is a gift to us as an expression of source energy. We only want to express in love. And sometimes to have a contrast to paint in allows us to have an awareness to choose even more of an expression of the truth of ourselves.
All right, Lauri, stand by. You and I have to take our news break at the bottom of the hour. Exonation Lauri Ivers is our guest this hour. She is a psychic medium. She's also an intuitive healer and spiritual teacher. Her website is www.lauriivers.vpweb.com. That's www.lauriivers, that's LauriIvers.vpweb.com. And we'll be back on the other side of the news as we continue here in the X Zone with yours truly, Rob McConnell from our broadcast center in Hamilton, Ontario, Canada. Don't go away.
The following program may contain coarse language, violence, nudity, mature subject matter, or scenes which may not be suitable for all viewers. Viewer discretion is advised.
This is the X Zone Broadcast Network, broadcasting worldwide on broadcast affiliates and satellite program providers, including CNN Broadcast Network, Sirius Satellite Network, Star Media, Good News Radio Network, Angel Broadcast Network, Wiki Broadcast Network, and WPBN TV. For more information on the X Zone Broadcast Network, visit us at www.xzbn.net.
Welcome back, everyone. Lauri Ivers is our special guest this hour. www.lauriivers.vpweb.com. Lauri is a psychic medium. She is also an intuitive healer and spiritual teacher. Lauri, you and I were talking during the commercial break with the news about happiness, and you gave me an explanation on why not everybody is happy. And I would love for you to tell the X Zone Nation what you told me.
Oh, excellent. Well, I don't know if I will verbatim, but I will tell you my perception of it. I believe that we forget the truths of ourselves, that all things are possible, and we see from an external point of view a sense of limitation because of the evolution of the planet. We have aligned that there is limitation collectively. And so people would say, well, work is hard and life's a struggle. And then they would buy into that untruth, and that would create a limitation that would continue a pattern of that experience.
It's like people not taking responsibility for their own lives and blaming God, blaming the devil, blaming their spouse, blaming their neighbor, instead of saying, hey, I screwed up. And once you...
I wouldn't align to the word screwed up, because I don't believe in right or wrong or good or bad. I believe that we're just here having an expression to know more of the truth of ourselves through every experience.
So how do you explain it when something that you do is wrong?
Well, wrong is a judgment, and I would like to just express the way I see source energy is rushing to you in a fire hose, all of your desires. And then you kink the hose by making a judgment of good or bad or right or wrong. And source is still trying to bring every desire to you, because it is ask and it's given. So instantaneously source says, oh yeah, you're a piece of me. Why would I not give you everything?
So what or who is source? Source
is the infinite energy of all that is in all. It's just ongoing energy. It's and you know that's interesting. You asked me that question, because my question is always, well, where did source come from?
That was coming.
Because I know it's all, and I haven't uncovered that piece of light, but it's arriving.
How can people discover source?
They are source in a physical expression.
That didn't answer my question.
I'm sorry?
How can they discover source?
They can discover source by holding an attention to connect internally to the truth of themselves, which is an energetic light being, having a vibration.
All right. Now, you may be talking over the heads of a lot of our listeners
Oh, I see.
who are just getting into this and who are seeking simplistic answers. So when I was asking you, how do you find source or who is source? I'm asking for the listeners.
I understand,
Yeah.
and I will have that directed. What I have found is the easiest process for people to stay out of judgment of what is possible for them to connect to source, because they may have judgments that source is a being that judges them or is distant from them or not available to them, or they have to be good or do certain things to connect with source, is to ask.
I see.
So
Seek and you shall find.
Yes, and asking what it
You
does
will receive.
actually is it does not create judgment. It allows you to express exactly where you are. So when you say, what would it take to connect to source? You're saying, I don't feel connected to source. You're not creating a judgment or
Right.
kinking the hose. You're directing your mind, which is like a computer. It's the software going to the subconscious of everything you've ever experienced to find an answer for you. So it's better to direct it to find the answer that you desire.
But with
And
a
then
with
because
a
it's-
computer program, you get an instruction book. Now, if you know how the program works, whether you're using, let's say, Windows XP or Vista or Windows 8 or 9, the program still works the same, but you have to learn how to use that program. So my question to you is, how do you learn, or how do you first contact source if, up until this point, you did not know source existed? There's got to be a starting point.
There is a starting point. It's an intention. If you hold an intention, that is the starting point. Because every thought, feeling, and emotion you have, it resonates out and will bring you an experience.
All right, but once again, whether the philosophy is Christianity, Catholicism, you have to start off by learning. You have to have the desire. You have to be introduced to the philosophy. So for many people listening tonight, they have never heard of the source. And they may be asking, well, how can I find out more about the source? How do I know if this is right for me? How do I know, how do I connect, or how do I try to connect? You see, you're an experienced lady when it comes to spiritual teaching, intuitive healing. You're a psychic and a medium. So the people out there who are listening tonight, unless they know about the source, they have no idea what we're talking about.
What I would suggest to them is, you know how our mind often is chattering? The first step is to have awareness of your breathing, because the shallow breathing keeps you from being able to feel more.
Okay.
So if you wanted to expand on that empathic feeling that we all have about how something around us would feel,
Right.
that is a step to connect to source.
So meditation.
Meditation, absolutely. It's about quieting the mind. And that process I was mentioning to you about asking, the
Yes.
reason I suggest it is because it's a very practical, every moment way to direct your consciousness to where you desire to be. So if you are asking rather than stating that or feeling that what you're asking for is not true, it will allow you to begin receiving more awareness, meaning you'll find probably a book that would catch your eye.
Right.
And that book would have the perfect information, because that's how spirit works. It's not it generally doesn't, I don't generally show up knocking at your door to teach you. Normally you would reach out to someone or you would encounter someone who shared a story with you,
Right.
and they would give you some sort of aha feeling that would